Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. First of the month. This is a really, really big deal because now you have a whole month to start over and get your goals going. I'm Daisy Shane Goodwin. Hello, if you have never met me, here I am. Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. I have some big news. I'm pregnant. April Fools.
Oh. You have to be kidding. Right. I
Yes,
should know better.
kidding. Yes, I'm kidding. And I
I
love
should
how
know
the
better.
claps faded. It wasn't like a lot of claps right away. It was like, okay. April Fools. It's my favorite holiday of the whole year right now. So I have some things that are not an April Fool's joke. We have a ton of rank advancements, which is so exciting. It's my favorite to see all the fire going on and people just being so inspired, and people coming on that are really catching the vision of we are like-minded people that really care about other people and their health and their wealth and their well-being. And it's amazing in this day and age to be part of such an incredible team. So thank you everyone for being who you are. I'm going to go through these rank advancements. What I love about rank advancing too is it's not about like a competition. I've been an athlete my entire life, so it was always about winning for me. It was always about seeing, who could get the most points and winning. And what I love about this company is you focus on others winning and then you win. And where else in the world can you do that, where you can rank advance your people and help their people rank advance, and then you win? It's such an incredible way to do business. And so this isn't about competition. This is about celebration. This is so awesome. So I'm going to read through them, and if I butcher your name, I'm sorry. And if we forgot your name, please forgive me as well, because there's a lot of them. And I was trying to organize them all before. I've got literally behind that door, there are 10 children waiting to bust in and get crazy. So Pro 1. Now, this is a big rank, even though it seems like not that big of a deal. It's Pro 1. Pro 1 is a big deal because you are doing what it takes to get there. You either sign up with a platinum pack, which means that you put your heart and soul. It's a lot of money for a lot of us in the beginning. And you decided that you're going to take this business seriously. It's a really big deal. And also it could mean that you came on with a gold pack and you got enough customers to hit Pro 1, which is 1,000 in monthly volume. It's a big deal. And I love what I learned early on. Carrie Dickey taught this. A Pro 10 is a Pro 1 that just never stopped. So if you're a Pro 1 and I'm reading your name, or I haven't read your name, but you are a Pro 1, celebrate that. It's a big deal. Cynthia Lopez Fisher, Pro 1, congratulations. Gio Leoner, sorry if I butchered your name. Owen L. Lucky Enterprise, that sounds good. I'd like to join that club. Elizabeth Reynolton, Kimberly Harrelson, Rob Hunt, Chad Huntsley, Curtis Harrelson. I hope I'm getting your names right. This is all from Melody Sojourn, I just got to tell you. Ken Sojourn, Rebecca Newman, Wanda, Katie, I don't know how to say your last name. I'm so sorry. Husselnell, and Jessica Shan. Good job, Pro 1. Now that deserves a clap. Me getting pregnant, I don't know about that. You guys have been seeing me for a while. Pro 2s, this is awesome. 2,500 in organizational volume every month. Kayla Baston, Summer Moana, woohoo! Daisy and Etienne Grossi. I gotta just talk about these two for a second. First month, Daisy is hitting Pro 2 in her first month. This is so awesome. Another person from people from Canada. So awesome. I'm so proud of you guys. Levi Scholler, Kamiley, also in her first month, she's hitting Pro 2. Angie and Ben Jarvis, good job, everybody. I'm so proud of you. Big deal. Pro 3, now all these Pro 2s, if this is your first month to hit Pro 2, you hit Pro 3 next month, you're not only going to get $100 from hitting Pro 2 in March, you're going to get $100 for maintaining it if you can maintain it. And then if you hit Pro 3, you're going to get an extra $250. So love this company. So nice. Fast money. That's great. Julie Tullock, Pro 3. Woohoo! And we have a few new Pro 4s. This is a big deal. 10,000 in organizational volume. It's a big deal. Adam Romberg. Yeah, Adam. Yes. Tara Ornelas. Yeah, Tara. Megan McNally. You. Nina Weber. Ow. Gary and Terry Higgy. Yeah. Woohoo. And Sophie Cook. Guys, that's a big deal. That is halfway, a little less than halfway to Pro 5. And Pro 5 is when all the good stuff starts happening. And I got to just give a little love to Miss Carrie Hillsley, who just qualified for Pro 5 Summit. I know we've kind of already given her a bunch of props. She hit Pro 5 years and years ago and has jumped back up to hit Pro 5, hold it, and go to Summit. So it just goes to show, if you just keep doing this business slow and steady, you will get major results. So thank you, everybody. I'm gonna listen, but I'm gonna put, you guys don't want to watch what's behind those doors. You won't be able to watch anybody else. It's a little fiasco. So thank you. Love y'all.
Thank you, Daisy. So I'll let you kind of get started.
Today we're going to get a little geeky for everybody and do a little of the science. Erin's going to be sharing some of the science, and Alisan is on. She's going to be helping us understand how this can affect our pets and animals. So I won't say a whole lot more than that.
I just want them to be able to see us. For some reason it says...
Oh, no, it does that. For some reason.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
All right, good. So what else?
That was it. We're just going to get right into the science, so it doesn't take a lot of time. And Alisan possibly may have a special guest for us. So we'll find out when she pops on.
So I'm going to share our screen here. First, let me, well, yeah, I'll fix it. Okay. So I should, sorry guys. I want to share the right thing here, not the desktop.
There you go.
Okay, so if I click on this and then do play, no, there we go. I'm on the right thing now.
Okay.
All right, so what we have here, let me drag our faces off the screen, otherwise I cannot see. Nope, can't do that.
Oh.
Yep.
Where's your cursor?
I'm not going to worry about it right now. I know it.
Okay.
I know what we're talking about anyway.
Okay.
So I'm sure you all have, at least most of you have seen this, and I just wanted to highlight something that kind of appeals to a lot of people. People talk about toxins in the environment. They talk about, eating healthy food, and sometimes the question of whether or not some of our things are organic comes up. And my comeback to that is, to tell them that yes, even though they're not certified organic and trying to get things from many different countries with that certification, with a high standard certification, one that is highly respected, is hard to accomplish, but they do follow the Organic Foods Act of 1990 as far as their quality is concerned. Just doesn't have that stamp on the label. So anyway, I can share that with people, and I could also share, even if these things weren't, if they're activating your body's ability. We have someone unmuted, and while I'm sharing the screen, I can't really fix that, so thank you. I just like to share with people that if they could activate their body to get rid of toxins, it's all about the ratio, right? So if our body is getting rid of toxins faster than they're coming in, that's the point. And that's what Nerf 2 and Nerf 1 does. It helps us to get rid of things faster. So even if they did have a little bit of residue or whatever on them, that would be minuscule in comparison to the amount that they would allow your body to eliminate. That I can share that with people as well.
So the company itself does a lot of testing.
Oh, yeah.
As far as on each individual product that comes in, right? And they test it for how clean it is.
Exactly.
And how potent it is. And then they put it together. And they test the potency then as well, right? And they're not even required to do that. They only have to they're only required to test every certain number of batches, but they, in their integrity, test every single one. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just hypothetically, if there was, some contamination, I'm just sharing that kind of hypothetical situation to open people's minds. So with oxidative stress, I'm sure you all have heard about inflammation. And so if people, want to know more, you can ask them, well, what drives practically every disease that we know of, right? It's inflammation. Mm-hmm. What creates inflammation? Oxidative stress. Oxidative damage leads to inflammation, and that's those are the two reasons why we and get disease. It's funny, I was working with a young guy one time, and this was a long time ago, and he said, why do we age? He said, because of oxygen. I thought, no. Really? Well, turns out he's right. It's a double-edged sword. Good in some ways and not so good in others.
You have a phone call that's not muted.
Okay. I can't fix it right now. I can stop the screen share, then I can fix it. Okay, great. Back to this. Okay. I need someone else controlling everything while we do the screen. Now we know we could do that next time.
You're usually the one that does that.
Exactly. Okay, so let me hit play again. So I don't want to take too long. Most of you are already familiar with this, but if any of you aren't, the way NRF2 works is it just activates our body to be able to produce the enzymes and different things, anti-carcinogenic, anti-fibrotic, and all these different products within our body that do the heavy lifting, such as glutathione, for example. So if you have a problem and it needs fixing, the survival genes deal with that. They deal with that fixing, whether it's getting rid of inflammation, getting rid of free radicals that cause the inflammation, upregulating the repair systems. You can read all about that in even just in the abstract of the study that Washington State republished about NRF2. And just ask your upline or someone for that. We share it quite readily.
How about NRF2 Science?
Or nrf2science.com. There's a lot of information there. Mm-hmm. It talks about these things even just in the abstract. It's really cool. So we have hundreds of survival genes that are regulated by NRF2 activation. So this would be just a segment of those hundreds of genes. And when NRF2 is activated, it regulates their expression. Kind of like a dimmer switch on a light. You can turn the light brighter or darker. That's how this works. The expression of the gene is increased or decreased when NRF2 is activated. So now if this looks kind of a lot different, well, yeah, it is.
It's the same cross-section.
It's the same genes, but this is in a, oxidative stress versus, if I go back, this is under the influence of NRF2 activation.
And that would be basically what it should be, a normalization of that.
Right.
Like when we started out as a small child, ideally.
Right.
They're all normal.
And the body is very smart. I believe we were created by an intelligent designer, and that intelligence is within us. So some of these actually shouldn't be there forever, but it turns off after several hours. Yes. So a constant NRF2, that wouldn't be good, but it's all designed to where it's going to be in harmony. So check this out. If you have, for example, these tall genes are overexpressed, and you see a lot of them that are short too, that are underexpressed. And so this is just one example of how an overexpression of even just one of these hundreds of genes can cause problems. And NRF2 affects so many. It's just incredible. I think when I first comprehended this was when my mind was blown about what NRF2 activation is capable of. Mm-hmm. So this is two examples we're all very familiar with. If you've seen the ABC Primetime, you know about SOD and catalase. And so that's just showing the increase over 30 days and 120 days. People ask, can I just take this for 30 days? And
you could.
You could, yeah. John Quiona's, based on the blood test and on extra, he even said he was sleeping better in a couple weeks. But not everyone has, noticeable results in a couple weeks. But you can show them this, that, even 120 days later, the effect is much greater than just after 30 days. So it's really something you want to try for a while. And, I'll have to talk about this later, but who all wants to try to be healthy throughout their whole life? I mean, by the age of 60, the average person has 3 cancers in their body. They might be dormant cancers, but that's what autopsy studies show, is that by the age of 60, you have about 3 cancers or more. And that's pretty interesting. So people say, I feel fine. Well, the science says that we age and that, hey, there's a way now that we can reduce these core aspects of aging. I'm sure many of you have seen that. That's just showing the synergistic, capacity of Protandim, how it's much more effective together. And those aren't just the herbs, those are extracts. So if someone wants to go out and get turmeric and start taking that and some ashwagandha and different things, they're just, being a mad scientist, they're not going to end up with the same activation. The turmeric is only 3% curcumin. So they'd have to get curcumin and all the different things, and then they'd have to try to get it ratioed out just right of all the different extracts. LifeVantage takes that work out. Mm-hmm. They do the work for us, and it's awesome. Great. Yeah. Okay. On to our next thing. Mom, do you want to share what happened to you when you started? Just real quick. I know we're busy.
Sure.
Trying to get through everything.
Well, when we jumped in to do this, I was excited about the science. And and Rusty always laughs at me, I never connected the dots of what it would actually do in my life. And so even though I knew the science, but it was after about 4 weeks of taking the NRF2, I had an irregular heartbeat, for about 3 years. And it was something that was noticeable about 3 times a week. And I got used to it. That was just there. After 4 weeks of being on the NRF2, I have no longer had that, haven't had it since, which to me says it's helping my heart to function like it should. When I started the NRF1, again, I didn't connect the dots, even though NRF1 is so important for lungs, for heart, for brain, all these different things. And well, as you said, it's good for everything. Actually.
Yes, I'll explain that later.
But I have lung issues. I've always had them since I was a small child. And always felt like I was just breathing right up here in the top of my lungs and never getting a full breath. And 3 weeks in, I was on one of our workouts, took a breath, and it's like it didn't even hit bottom. And
you're swimming.
Yeah, we were swimming, doing our sprints. And so on one of those sprints, it startled me. It startled me that the air went so deep. Yeah. And I've noticed an improvement consistently with my breathing, which is a blessing.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted you to share that because it just gives an explanation of what I'm talking about here with mitochondria and NRF1. So keep in mind that NRF1, we talk about mitochondrial biogenesis, mitochondrial function, and that's a big thing that it does. The NRF1 activation also deals with, it's easy to remember, 24/7, 2,470 genes. So that may be even more genes than NRF2 deals with. A lot of those have to do with neurological health. So that's something that we all want. As far as the mitochondria, upregulating their health, that's huge. Because those of you that are familiar with this already know that is our energy source. I mean,
did you turn off the stove's turned off and everything?
Yeah, the stove said.
Whoever is saying, did you turn off? Could you please mute? So I don't have to do it. Okay, if they come back, we're out of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
But we want to get into a couple of examples.
Yeah, a couple examples.
Because the science is real important for us to understand as distributors.
Right.
But sometimes we're sharing with someone who may not understand that from the science perspective. So we've come up with a few simpler ideas. You want to share a couple of those?
Yeah. And also I just wanted to just real quick, everyone that Dr. Schellenberger has ever tested that has cancer has poor mitochondrial function. And he's never had someone come in and say, oh, doc, I have cancer now, and 6 months ago you tested my mitochondrial function and it was good. Never. Mitochondrial function always leads to degeneration. So it's something that we all want to keep healthy. Awesome. I wish I had more time to go into it more. I love the science of mitochondria.
Yes.
Okay, so before you write this list down, just forget the list, because it deals with everything.
But then this has to do with the NF1 pathway and the mitochondria.
Mitochondrial biogenesis and mitochondrial health. Scientists are thinking, okay, it's related to this and this and this and this. But you know how science is. They like to prove it's related. Mm-hmm. Well, also, if we didn't have mitochondria, we couldn't have a body. Our body couldn't function. It'd be like cellular bacteria. They have to have mitochondria in order to function as a whole and work together and have a body and organs and all these things. So everything's related. Okay, so would you like to explain how someone asks, what does Nerve2 do?
So Scott Satterfield likes to share the illustration of a fire happening in a house, and you can see the firefighters and they're all throwing water from the outside, which can be helpful. But if they could actually hit it from the inside, wouldn't that be better?
Yeah, so it doesn't look like it's working very well in this photo.
So if there's a sprinkler system you could have turned on right at the beginning on the inside, it would have made a huge difference.
Yeah, maybe even put it out in the beginning.
That's right, before it got that big.
Okay, so
we'll skip that one. Go to that one.
Okay, so another analogy is if you're in a spaceship and you're traveling along and you hit an asteroid field, or say you get stuck flying around in a planetary ring, your spaceship would get beat up by all this, space junk or just asteroids. And so if you could turn on a force field that would, create like a tunnel that you could fly through without the asteroids, then your spaceship would be safe. So that's kind of what Nerve2 is doing. It's turning on our protection against all the damaging free radicals.
Right. And another one that we've talked about is having a thermostat in the house, which can
I love that one.
The heat or the cold. Yeah. And if you had a thermostat that could actually clean your carpets, replace them if you needed to, replace the roof, clean the windows.
Really, it would be like a servant regulator.
Yeah.
Right?
It would work great.
Right. Like if you had a giant mansion.
Mow the lawn.
And you had to have all the groundsmen,
right.
people to cook, to take care of the guests that come and visit. Mm-hmm. But what if the servants, they get old and die? Then what do? You
have to replace them if you could.
So we have millions upon millions of little servants in every cell. Mm-hmm. And they get less and less as people age.
That's right.
So we need more of those good guys doing the work. All right, I'm going to
more
turn it over.
I know. Over to Alisan. And we might go a little over this time, but bear with us.
Hopefully,
Alisan has some really important things to share. And sorry for taking so much time.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, guys. That was a great analogy. Those were all great analogies. And so I just want to say hi, and I'll try to make my talk quick and give you some practical things that I've had people ask me about. And but for those who don't know me, my name is Alisan Parnes. I'm in Georgia, veterinarian, acupuncturist, and I have seen incredible things with animals. And I know people always have animal questions, and a lot of times people come to me wanting to know how to approach their veterinarian. So I just thought tonight what I would do is share with you sort of some things that you can let pet owners know what to expect in terms of how their animals are going to respond to pet tandem or pro tandem. And then also maybe some approaches to veterinarians or doctors, and just some of my favorite studies that I share with doctors and vets, and also some of my favorite links and videos. So let me share my screen with you. Let's see, there we go. Okay, and play. Boom. Okay, so in terms of what we can really say about animals, you know, this for the most part is compliant, but what we can say is when animals start pet tandem, they're going to have better skin and hair coat, they're going to have increased energy and endurance, they're going to have a healthier immune system, better sleep, better joint health and mobility, reduced pain. Inflammation is not really legal to say, but it's on here. Stronger resistance to allergies, better tooth and gum health, better cardiovascular health, increased mental function and alertness, and reduction of age-related cognitive disorders. So lots and lots of benefits that really, you know, are involved with many organs in the body. Some of the literature recently in veterinary news has come out about just how nerve activation and oxidative stress plays a role in periodontal disease. And so there are things that can reduce that periodontal disease, and it actually talks about pet tandem, or formerly known as canine health, in this article. So things you can do to reduce or prevent periodontal disease would be things like taking antioxidants. They talk about vitamin C, vitamin E. They talk about topical antioxidant therapy on the gums. But they say then at the end that NRF2 is really now at the forefront of what is really protecting these animals, because they're so much more powerful than taking antioxidants or vitamins. So that's coming to you from a major international publication, which is pretty cool. And then another recent publication came out of a Eukanuba journal talking about anti-aging in dogs, and Purdue University is actually doing longevity studies now, and they're measuring catalase and SOD in dogs, and they're looking for things to help our dogs live longer. And ta-da, we have the only thing ever proven to extend lifespan. So people don't know that. Purdue doesn't know that yet, right? So these are like really exciting things that we can share with the scientific community and really with pet owners. So I really wanted to kind of talk to you, because I get this question all the time, like, oh my gosh, I really want to approach my vet. Like, how do I, you know, tell my vet about this? And, you know, I come from really the way I expose veterinarians is usually because they're my friends already or my colleagues. And so I think the way I would approach them would be very different than the way a client would approach, you know, their vet or a non-vet related person. So I was just thinking about different ways, like, well, if a client came to me, what would actually intrigue me? What would make me curious to look further? And so this was sort of the invite I thought that might be a good one. You guys, I mean, there's no perfect way, but, you know, if you really wanted to kind of pique their curiosity, this was one of the things that, that came to me. So saying, hey, you know, if you have a personal relationship with them, that's ideal, okay, versus a cold call. But hey, I was recently watching a talk by a veterinarian or a doctor, if you're talking to a human physician, about NRF2 activation. Have you ever heard of that? And they're probably going to say no. Well, then you could say it's pretty mind-blowing. You know, there's something that's all natural that activates this pathway in the body, and there are tons of peer-reviewed research on PubMed. That would like totally go, what? Like bells, like, okay, PubMed, peer-reviewed research, wow. You know, and then compliment them. You know, you're one of the smartest people I know. Like, I totally trust your opinion. If I sent you some information, would you just be willing to take a look and let me know what you think? Because what you want to do is you want to make them the expert, right? You don't want to ever approach a medical doctor, and especially if you're not in the medical field, and try to teach them, okay? Because most doctors have big egos. So you're going to get a lot further by complimenting them, having them think they're helping you, asking for their opinion and their feedback. So let them be that expert. And then most of the time they're not going to say no. You know, if you're coming and you're telling them that, they're going to say, sure, send me some information. So now then, what do you send them? Okay, so these are some of the things that I would recommend. And I actually, you know, have kind of formulated an email for some of my distributors on things to send to vets and doctors. But the first thing I would do is send, you know, the link to PubMed, and I typically start my email off and I'll just say, you know, I'm attaching a few studies. I always send study attachments with the emails, but I say I'm attaching a few studies, a few of my favorite studies, but you can find them all on PubMed.gov by just going to the website and typing Protandim in the search bar, and all of the peer-reviewed studies will pop up. I always attach this study. This is the very first one on Protandim. Okay, this is the one that shows the 40% reduction in oxidative stress. This is the one that shows the 300% increase in glutathione. These are huge, you know, findings. And so I always attach this original study. So that would be the very last study. If you're on PubMed, you go all the way to the very last study, and that's actually the first study. The second one is, Erin mentioned earlier, the Washington State paper. This is a great one because it talks all about the NRF2 pathway, really educating on all the different things that can activate the pathway. And I love this table here because this, you can highlight this in the study, and it tells you basically all the diseases where raising NRF2 is reported to be useful in prevention or treatment in animals or humans. And you can see all these different things, you know, cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, cancer, kidney disease, metabolic, so autoimmune, down the list. So I love to be able to highlight this and that top, you know, line saying reported to be useful in prevention and or treatment. And this is allowed because this is a scientific paper and this is not related to our company. However, Protandim is mentioned in this paper, which is wonderful. And then I also love it because this was the big famous statement at the end of this study and the conclusions about NRF2 being the most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. So I love to send that one. I also like to send this chemo prevention study, you know, because cancer is a huge concern for most doctors and vets. We see a ton of it in animals. And so I do like to show this study. And then for veterinarians, there's actually this study, it's written by a veterinarian, and it's all about oxidative stress and NRF2 pathway in canines. And our product is actually mentioned in this paper as well. So it was published in the American Holistic Veterinary Association Journal. So another very well-recognized, reputable journal. And then there's also this arthritis one. And depending on, sometimes I'll send this one or not, but we deal with so much orthopedic issues, joint disease, arthritis in animals and dogs. And so I do like to show this one because, you know, everybody and their mother, it seems like, has their dog on glucosamine, chondroitin, and, you know, all these joint supplements, and never have any of those ever shown what Protandim does to the joints in terms of the benefits. And so I am 100%, if you got an animal with a joint problem, don't waste your money. If you can only choose one thing, like, go with Protandim. So this is sort of the thing that I talk to vets about, is because most of the time on glucosamine, they don't hear their clients and patients, you know, coming back saying, oh, my dog's running around again and doing great, and we're able to start weaning off of pain meds. Rarely ever does that happen. Links. So those are the studies I usually attach. This is actually currently my favorite link that's out there that shows the ABC primetime. It's called biohackandactivate.com. So there's a lot of them that have been out there, but they tend to link back to like a company team, right? This one was actually made to be very generic in terms of everybody in the company being able to use it, not linking back to a specific team in the company. And I think it's great because it's super professional. It's very science-y. It's got some testimonials, but it also has the ABC Primetime on the homepage. And then there's the tab at the top for health professionals. And if you click on that, there's a new 10-minute video with a lot of the doctors that are in the company, human and veterinarians, talking about why they are so passionate about NRF2 activation and nutrigenomics. So that's a really good one to share with healthcare professionals. And so I just really like this website. My favorite dog video to share is the Cassie video. That was one of the first ones I saw, and because yellow labs are my favorite dogs, my favorite dog breed, but they're also my poster child acupuncture patient. I swear, can't tell you how many labs I've treated for hip and knee problems. And just seeing her results just makes me smile every time still. So I always share that video. And then this is another one. It's older, but man, she is so good at explaining the studies, breaking them down to where lay people can understand them, and also just what Protandim is doing in the body. So I share this as well. And, sometimes I might pick and choose. I might do all of these in the email, but I might do some of these as a follow-up. But just definitely some of my favorite ones. And I think that's it. That's it for what I have. So hopefully that helps you guys with just different things and different approaches. And we're a little past time, so I don't know if there's any time for questions, but I'm happy to stay on if anyone has any.
That was awesome, Alisan. Thank you so much. And that was so clear and so helpful. I love what you did, sharing those links and those studies. That is awesome.
Yay, good.
Very
Thank you. Awesome.
Questions?
Just be sure and unmute yourself.
Biohack and Activate. Someone's asking, what's the website again? It's called biohackandactivate.com. And yeah,
it's already above.
So they've been interviewing, I know people throughout the company. There was a team that started this group, this particular website, but they're using everybody, no matter what team you're on. I know we were. Friend of mine was asked to interview for this, healthcare professional thing, and their whole thing is we just want a generic, everybody can use it. So I think it's really well made, well done, the website. Can you get my email for questions? Yes, I will type it in the comments here. It's alisansharp@comcast.net, and my name is spelled weird. So anyway. Let's see. Thank you guys. Oh, I'm reading the comments. Okay. Well, thankfully, thank you, Erin, for always recording, because now you guys can just play this back. If it went too fast, you'll be able to see the slides and slow them down and screenshot them or whatever. And I'm screenshotting some of yours, Erin. Those were really good. Thank you.
Well, I can share the originals as well.
Okay. Yep. I put my email in there, Sarah. Oh, you don't see the email from me? Oh, wait, I did it privately. How do I do that? Hang on, to the everyone. Okay, let me do that again. And you can always hit me up on Facebook too. But I do have all those studies. The reason I attach a lot of those studies is because when they go to PubMed, they can only see the abstracts. So I like to attach the full studies for some of my favorite ones so that they can actually print them out and read them. And so I do have most of them on my computer that I can email in PDF form. So if there are certain ones that you want to have the entire study, just, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, thank you guys. That was a great call, great information.
And thank you, Daisy, for popping on and sharing those rank advancements. It's always good to see you. I know you are swamped with those little people. Would have been more swamped if you'd have been pregnant.
She totally got me. Did she get you on the April Fools? Oh my gosh. I was about to fall out of my chair. You all have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. That was a great call.